Welcome back to the Excel of Marketing podcast. I'm here today at Chiang Mai Grow B2B event. I'm here with my good friend Hennock, and he's going to talk about how we started as an agency before and how we even met. But let me tell you a quick background first on how I even met Hennock at the first place. So first, we joined Grow B2B. It's a community where like-minded people with cold email space, and then we just talk about basically anything that you have questions on about cold email. And now we're in Chiang Mai, so I wanted to welcome Hennock right here, my good friend.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely, bro. My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, bro, we know that we already know that we're in Chiang Mai right now.
Yeah.
But how did we even meet at the first place? Talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was, I joined Grow B2B this year in, when was it? I think May 2025 of this year. And then started hopping on calls and seemed like you were one of the few people that are actually consistent hopping on the calls. I know even now everyone's saying I'm not on the calls, but that's for a story for another day. But
Yeah.
yeah, I know I seen you're one of the few people, you, Spencer, Omar, and other people were the most consistent hopping on calls and asking the most questions that I was even like kind of wondering how do I solve this problem. So yeah, just started connecting with you there. We started chopping up here and there in the DMs, and then really, in-person events are just different because you actually meet the person in person. We just kind of hit it off, and then funny enough, where we're staying at, the first night or two, we didn't know we were in the same building, and then that was hilarious. And then yeah, we just started connecting, just clicking from there, and just it's been a blessing. It's been fun so far. So yeah.
Absolutely. Now, bro, let's give context to the audience.
Yeah.
What do you do? What in terms of like agency? We know we're in the cold email space.
Yeah.
But tell us about what you do, what your offer is. What's your background prior to this offer?
Yeah,
Talk to us about that.
so I guess I'll start on a little bit about my background and then kind of move into what we're doing right now. But yeah, we were first. So when I first started into the whole agency space, I was an appointment setter slash closer for an offer, and then was doing pretty well with that. And some things happened, kind of fell off apart with the business owner, and then from that point on, I was like, you know what? I've been practicing and learning a lot about AI automations, and I even invested into a program and actually wanting to learn more about this. And then started running my own AI automation offer. Was doing pretty well with it. It's more operations focused, like and then from that point on, after that, moved into cold email. And the funny reason why we moved into cold email is because we were actually seeing a lot of clients, when we're speaking to them, one of the biggest problems that they're facing was leads, right? And then we were using cold email to get clients. And then from that point on, we're like, hey, why not start selling cold email offer and actually helping clients get more leads, right? Because at the end of the day, the biggest thing is top of funnel, which is revenue, that's what they wanted. They wanted more leads. They wanted to speak to more qualified appointments. So that's where we're like, you know what, let's actually start putting our focus onto the top of the funnel rather than the middle funnel, and start helping clients get leads into the pipeline. And then from that point on, I've been now transitioned our offer from an AI automation offer into more of a cold email slash lead gen agency now. So yeah.
Absolutely. Now, bro, with all of that background being said,
Yeah.
you kind of transition from like going on the back end to now working on the front end.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about the transition, how it went, and how did cold email even presented itself?
Yeah.
Because I've noticed a lot of people, even including me and our recent guest Spencer, it kind of did presented itself as an opportunity that you're not even seeing. It's just that it's just part of your process, and then all of a sudden, I could do this for other people
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So talk to us a little bit more.
Yes, I think my biggest epiphany moment when we're like, oh, we can actually leverage this because we're pretty good at it was, so first of all, we bought a lot of domains because we're like, we're gonna scale. I think every agency is like, we're gonna scale. We're gonna start sending 1,000 emails every day, 1,000,000 emails. We're gonna hit this goal. And so one of the biggest problems is that back in November, because we started officially in October 2024, start sending cold emails. And then November 2025, we actually got almost around roughly 25 like cold email leads, like positive reply emails.
Nice.
So for us, being in the second month of cold email, we're like, oh my gosh, like these are a lot of leads, 25 leads. Like we were so excited, we were happy because those are opportunity in the pipeline.
Yep.
And then from that point on, we realized I think our strengths just lied there because it was just more of like, leads are what drives revenue forward, right? So that's where we kind of have an epiphany moment. And then even speaking with a lot of clients, they wanted leads, right? Like end of the day, every business owner wants more leads. They want to make more money. So if you're able to bring value in that sense to help a business owner make more money, they definitely do want to have a conversation. And so started asking, because we were specifically targeting coaches and consultants,
Yeah.
which honestly I would not recommend. That's a story for another day. But when speaking to them, they wanted more leads and further offers that they're selling to a lot of these corporations. And so, yeah, transition that from December was kind of our transition mark. So we officially started doing lead gen cold email back in January of this year, 2025. So yeah.
Bro, and I'm not, when I say this, I'm not attacking the AI automation in any
Yeah.
way, but I think the complexity or
Yeah.
you cannot directly tie
Yeah.
the correlation of the automation on the back end
Yep.
for like revenue. So
Yep.
it might be harder to sell compared to like a lead
Yeah.
that can convert, that can turn into like a lifetime value
I
that you
agree.
can immediately tie to what you're pricing at.
I agree.
So how did that transition kind of like affected your sales process already? Did it become easier? Did it become harder? Talk to us about that.
That's a great question because the problem, one of the problems we were facing is we were getting leads, but we weren't able to close the leads. And the reason why we weren't able to close the leads is because within our sales process, there was no definitive answer or definitive quantifiable result that will result in them actually making more money or getting more money, new money into their pipeline, right? And even though we were getting a lot of leads, we weren't, because at the end of the day, you can get leads, but if you're not closing the deals, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
So I think we all noticed. So that was actually the main reason why we transitioned out, because we were having a lot of success, but the success wasn't tied directly to revenue and actually getting more contracts and deals signed in our pipeline. So that was literally the main reason why we transitioned out of kind of the AI automation space, because I think it is very popular. I think we spoke about this earlier.
Yep.
It's very popular now, which is great. But again, I think, and we already know this, if it's not driving revenue, if it's not opportunity, it doesn't matter because, money is the biggest thing for any business owner. So yeah.
Absolutely. And bro, so like when you transition now into the cold email space, the hardest part is always about starting out.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
like if someone's watching there who's just starting out with like cold email right now,
Yeah.
I know it's going to be much more different from how you started it back then.
Yeah.
So how would you recommend them actionable steps that they can take if they were to start now?
I think to give you, I guess, the high level overview, just so we're very clear and simple, is speed to execution is the most important thing, right? The reason why is because you are a new business owner. You are fairly young, right? You're competing against a lot of big guys, big dogs. You're competing against guys like Lewis who are crushing it right now. So the biggest thing is speed, right? Because it doesn't matter what your website looks like. It doesn't matter about your logo. Like you could focus on those things after, right? As long as you have a basic website domain going, that's all that matters, right? I'm not saying don't disregard that, but don't focus on those things that it's not going to drive revenue, right? That was one of our biggest mistakes. Even right now, if you can look at our website, like I really don't care because at the end of the day, I care about getting our clients results. And when it's time for us to focus more on branding, so we'll focus on that. However, one of the biggest things when you're first starting out is speed to execution. And so I guess the step-by-step process, how I would go about with that is, first of all, buying your domains, making sure your infrastructure is set up correctly. And what I mean by is, whether you're going for reseller domains or you're looking for, to build it out yourself, make sure where you're getting your infrastructure is good, right? I would say start off with 10 domains, get yourself familiar with cold email, fix all your sales, fix up all the process, get it all set up. And then from that point on, literally start scraping leads from, LinkedIn Sales Nav, Apollo, wherever the case might be. And then start sending out emails, right? Don't try and send out 10,000 emails in one day or 1 month, right? First, start off like with 1,000, from 1,000 to 2,000, from 2,000 to 5,000, from 5,000 to 7 to 10, and start incrementally going up by volume, right? I think one of the biggest mistakes we made at the start was just trying to send out like 15,000 emails in like 1 month, and then we couldn't even like handle all that. So biggest thing is moving quickly and then setting up your infrastructure correctly, and then actually start reaching out to people, right? Like another thing I want to actually add to this, Lewis, is you have cold email as one acquisition channel, right? You're sending cold emails to get clients for your offer, right? Just because you are sending cold emails doesn't give you the right to just sit in your hands the whole day, right? Like I've been a victim of that because I was confused at the very start. Because I'm like, now I have cold email going, I kind of have more free time to do anything I want, right? No, right? You have your cold email machine running on the back end. Start now after you send cold emails out, focus on a different acquisition channel, whether it's cold calling, whether it's, connecting with other business owners, right?
Yep.
You have cold email running, which is good. Now you have time, you're sitting on your hands like this. What can you be using your time for that's gonna help you make more money, right? Whether it's using Upwork or whether it's cold calling or whether it's, using LinkedIn and actually DMing people, right? You have your cold email acquisition system running. Now yourself as a business owner, you should be actually spending time talking to customers and trying to get more opportunities into the pipeline. So I know that's a little bit off note, but I just thought I'd add that there before I forget. So yeah.
But one thing I wanted to clarify there, bro, is how do they balance that between like or are you more of a proponent of try multiple things until one thing's work, or do one thing, master it, and then just jump into the other ones after? Because
that's a great question.
If we were to give advice to the ones who are starting out, they might take it seriously and literally go anywhere without the direction. So
okay, cool.
Give us some caveat behind it, like
great
when
question.
they shouldn't do it,
So if you're obviously just first starting out, focus on cold email. That's perfect. That's fine, right? Like don't confuse yourself with analysis paralysis. That's definitely a big thing you don't want to overwhelm yourself with. So at the start, take it slow, right? You're setting out your leads, making sure your emails land in, actually in the inboxes, making sure your leads are responding, fix your copy, start building out subsequences. Those are the most important things at the start, right? Personally with me, I don't want to say this, but I found more success doing multiple things, but I'd actually advise if you're just starting out, don't do that. The reason why I like that is just because I like to move quickly, and I know it's not a good thing, but if you're just starting out, focus on one thing. It's simple, right? Like it's easier for you. You're not gonna feel like that's the end of the world, right? Like focus on one channel, right? Focus on cold email, get cold email clients using cold email. And then another thing is when you are getting the leads coming in, right? If people are responding nicely, I would actually recommend trying to call the leads or trying to get them to book a meeting right away, right? Because the biggest thing no one talks about is speed to lead, right? And what speed to lead means is when someone's interested in your services, or if they say, hey, I would like to book a call, or I like what you're doing, try and book a meeting from that point on if it's possible, right? Because at that point, you have an opportunity to close a deal out, right? So the biggest thing is, yes, focus on cold email, try and get clients coming in. And then once those clients come in, actually try and convert them into a meeting or try and close out a deal within a reasonable manner. So yeah.
And a good framework that I always ask myself about that, bro, is that which one would you remember more? The message that you got just this morning or the message you got last week? I don't even know who texted me last week.
100%. Yeah, even like you could say from 2 days ago, like like we're texting in the group chat. You didn't remember what's going on, right? So yeah, definitely, like Louis said, like just focusing on the presence and like actually just really contacting people like right away, because a lot of people are kind of afraid to talk to people, right? I know that's a big conversation people don't want to talk about, is they're scared to talk to them. They always want to email. Like emailing is great, but if you can try and like book the meeting on a call or try and book the, right away, that's really going to set you apart from the masses.
Bro, and what are your thoughts on like when you're beginning out? And I've seen people always, even me before, I was overcomplicating things and I was trying to overanalyze. Hey, what should I choose? Google, Microsoft, or SMTP? You're trying to overanalyze, and then 1 week you haven't still gotten anything. Like, how do you view that? And do you, what are your opinions on that?
It's so funny when we first started off cold email, I just was looking at the price. What can I get the most inboxes or domains for the cheapest price, right? And that's, it goes against the word of don't be cheap when you're buying cold email infrastructure, right? But for me, I was like, you know what, man, like if I could spend $100 only a month for these amount of inboxes and not pay per month, I'm gonna do that, right? So I guess the biggest thing is if you can find a provider that's more budget friendly within your means and you can get it like all the domains set up right away, that's perfect, right? Because end of the day, like I know people are against resellers, and essentially what resellers are people that sell domains, or it's not domains, sell inboxes, and just essentially cheaper inboxes and help you set up. I know a lot of people are against that, but if you're just starting out and you need to move quickly, I would actually recommend doing that because right now your focus is on getting clients, right?
Getting the
And
results.
I know that's like one of the things, oh, don't use inbox resellers or whatever, right? But end of the day, you're not going to use the resellers for the whole year, right? You need to just focus on the short term for the next 2-3 months just to get some clients into your door, right? Because if you don't have clients, then you're not going to have an agency in the next 6 months, right? So I would actually recommend trying going for a good reseller. Talk to a lot of people. We were using premium inboxes for Google, and then we were using, I forgot what we were using before, the scaled mail for essentially
Outlook.
for Outlook. Yeah, so we were using those ways because our focus was, okay, we need to start getting more clients. We want to acquire more contracts. So I would actually recommend using that and then going from there and then scaling up when you got to. So yeah.
Bro, and one thing that I wanted to add here is
Yeah.
that once you start to gather more information, you
Yeah.
start hearing from one another.
Yeah.
You'll see that there's no consistent answer.
Yeah.
Like person A would tell you to
Yeah.
stick with like vanilla inboxes
Yeah.
or regular inboxes, but the other agency owner who's doing really well,
Yeah.
I just use Google. You just said to
Yeah.
me that you'll be surprised.
That's it.
So I guess the thing that I learned from here is that you should also test it out yourself.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
believe in your own data,
I
because
agree.
right now, like, okay, even if they say that scaled mail is bad,
Yeah.
I mean it's working for me.
Yeah.
So how can I say so? So
Literally.
so like whenever you hear information, always take it with a grain of salt
Yeah.
and just test it out.
Yeah.
Because with
Great.
cold email, you're gonna be dead if you
Yeah.
don't test things,
Yeah.
because things are always changing. But right now, would you say that if someone was to jump in and get their try to get their first 1 to 3 clients,
Yeah.
what would be the method now, or is it still the same? You know?
I agree. So I think to get your first 1 to 3 clients, I think you need to use definitely Upwork for sure, because there's people with already intent that are looking for the services. So I think Upwork is phenomenal. And then from that point on, I would actually leverage LinkedIn, right? Like I don't know about you, but I love LinkedIn just because people are able to see like what you're doing. And I don't know if you guys know, but when you Google your name, Hennock Lulseged, on Google, the first thing that comes up is LinkedIn, right? So people are able to click your profile and actually see what you're doing. So if you're able to build a credible brand on LinkedIn, you're able to land clients because that way they actually trust you, they see your face, and they actually see that you're actually doing cold email and lead generation. So Upwork for sure with high intent because people are looking for it. And then number 2, I would actually leverage LinkedIn DMs because, if you're able to build an authority brand on there, that's definitely one of the best ways to go about. So yeah, it's kind of ironic because not using cold email to get clients, but actually leveraging other channels to get clients for cold email. So yeah.
Absolutely, bro. So Spencer and I have dived deeper in terms of like Upwork.
Yeah.
But since you just mentioned LinkedIn DMs,
Yeah.
Let me dive deeper with
Let's
you
do
on
it.
that.
Let's do it.
So first,
Yeah.
they're starting out.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know anything about cold email yet. So what do they do on LinkedIn? Do they directly go to outreach or start posting first? Tell us
Yeah.
what to do. Actionable steps.
Perfect. Great. So if I were to start trying to get clients, for my cold email agency, one thing I would do is, first of all, optimize your profile. Like that is single-handedly the most important thing because you need to make sure your LinkedIn looks like an authority brand, right? If your LinkedIn just looks like it's kind of a ghost town page, like no one respectfully is not going to take you serious, right? Like you probably go through someone's funnel or Instagram, you kind of judge their page, right? So one of the biggest things is optimizing your LinkedIn to actually look like you're doing what you're doing, right? Because obviously we do want to respect your business. You do want to even respect yourself and carry yourself to higher standards, right? So 100% optimizing for the right, profile photo and actually looking like a public authority. Number 2 is actually posting content, right? It doesn't have to be, this 20-minute, 30-minute video. It could just be about what you learned, what you guys are finding successful, in cold email, how you guys are generating leads, and actually engaging with your audience. Because from that point on, you're able to cross-inverse with other people when you're commenting on other pages, right? And actually learning from other people in the space. So yeah, definitely actually posting content that's actually useful for your clients and actually them seeing, okay, Hennock or Lewis is actually able to get me these results because they actually do have a decent brand going. From that point on, I would actually, once I start posting content, I optimize my profile, I would actually then start doing outreach, right? Again, it doesn't matter how many followers you have really on LinkedIn. That's just a myth, really. Like I've gotten clients when I even had like 400 followers. Now I have, thank God I have over 1,000. So I'm able to.
One thing I can add, bro. Sorry to cut you off, but so one tip that we got there is that whenever there's new linking accounts, I think they should start first by warming up their accounts. Meaning this is just connecting by people, because LinkedIn will see their acceptance rate.
Exactly.
When you're connecting with someone, are they accepting you or are they ignoring you? Because that would allow like a threshold for like LinkedIn to approve you more. Because I've had, because my whole team is doing LinkedIn outreach right now, bro. And one of them got banned because the account got suspended. So that's a huge tip for you guys. So try to warm it up first, and then try to get more acceptance as much as possible. Because that would allow you to reach out to you more. But then after they got accepted, what do they do next, bro?
Yes, after you get accepted, you didn't burn your account, in the first 7 days. Literally, like LinkedIn wants you to optimize their page. So verify your email, do all the verification, whatever LinkedIn asks for, like literally follow it like to the T, right? Once you verify your account, you optimize your profile, start posting useful content that your clients will actually see. So for example, if you're targeting coaches and you're in lead gen, talk about, what are the common problems in lead gens that coaches face? Why is their pipeline dry? How can they get more sales, right? Like actually literally before I even got into this, what I did was literally went on ChatGPT and said, hey, what are the top 10 problems when it comes down to lead gen for, ICP? How can I make relatable content in the LinkedIn niche? Make sure I'm keeping it concise and clear and actually actionable steps that's actually gonna help my clients get tangible results, right? Like literally, if you're able to insert a clean prompt, like that prompt into your ChatGPT and actually start posting content, don't, copy and paste because people can tell. You're able to actually resonate with the audience that you're trying to get into, and then start, building, sales activities from there. So again, optimize your profile, and from that point on, start posting content. And number 3 is leveraging LinkedIn Sales Navigator. I'm pretty sure your team does leverage that as well. Like LinkedIn Sales Navigator, I love it so much. I like it better than Apollo, man. I'm not an Apollo fan, with all due respect. So literally, if you do have the funds, and if you are able to afford it, LinkedIn Sales Nav is probably the best like lead generation tool on there, because one of my secrets that I'm about to say is you're able to filter with intent. So people that are actually already looking for your services, and you're able to connect with them. So that's a little secret sauce. I haven't told no one this, but you're able to,
okay, let's dumb it down a little bit further for people who doesn't have a clue about LinkedIn Sales Nav. They might just know the app LinkedIn.
For sure,
but there's another tool called LinkedIn Sales Nav. So what does LinkedIn Sales Nav do basically?
So LinkedIn Sales Navigator is literally like a data, like LinkedIn, but it's a data platform where you're able to find ideally the people you want to like target as clients, right? So you're able to filter for revenue, their names, what companies they work for, where they're located. The biggest thing is location as well. If you want to locate people, in the Philippines or in Canada or in the US. So you're able to essentially go into this database and select all the data points that you are specifically looking for the type of clients you want to work for, right? Great part is you can even target revenue managers, C-level executives. So you're able to filter down for the types of clients you want to work with, right? So it's like another Apollo. I'm not too sure if everyone is familiar with Apollo, but LinkedIn Sales Nav is literally a data platform where you're able to start selecting the types of clients and filtrations for the people you want to work with. So that's what LinkedIn Sales Nav is.
Absolutely. So, bro, okay, we subscribe to LinkedIn Sales Nav. They got their filter. So what do they actually do? Because sometimes I've also heard people saying that you can also do like in-mails. Should we do in-mails or should we do connection request? And when we send connection requests, should we send a message or do we just leave it blank? Talk to us about that. Share us the sauce.
Great question. So I'm not too sure if everyone knows what in-mails are. So we're getting a little bit more technical, guys. But so when you are looking to connect with people on LinkedIn, you can either send a connection message or an in-mail message. Basically, it's like a request message if you were to kind of think about like Instagram. So personally, what I still do is I actually don't send in-mails, right? I've heard a lot of people found success with it. I just personally don't do it because the specific types of clients we are going for, I essentially want to build that relationship, even if it takes me a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. So personally for me, what we like to do is, okay, we actually like to send a connection request first. And then even from that back point on, we have some automations you probably know that's engaging with their content. So we like to like their content. We don't like to DM them right away because you're gonna look like you're just trying to pitch them. And I don't know about you, but sometimes if I get pitched right away, I get turned off.
Yeah.
So at least give it some time. So what you do is step number 1, send a connection request. And then step number 2, start engaging with their content, start liking, start commenting. Because from that point on, it is generally showing that you are watching them in a positive manner. And you're actually acknowledging their expertise and presence, right? So once you start connecting with them, start liking their content, I would say give it about 2-3 days, let it sink in. And then from that point on, always lead with value, right? If you are going to message someone, lead with value. That's like one of the biggest things my coaches have always said, because end of the day, if I am getting pitched, I need to know, okay, how is this valuable to me? How can you get me those results? And how is that going to help us, get to the next level, right? Because, if someone were to say, hey, do you need a thumbnail? I'm just kind of like, there's
Very generic.
They're exactly, right? So how can you get me specific results that's going to help us, make more money, save us more time, that sort of thing, depending on your offer. So make sure the value that you're sending is actually more about them and not about you. Because at the end of the day, as human beings, we're all selfish, right? Every business owner is selfish in some sort of way. So how can you make it about them, and how can, the clients you're trying to go for, how can they be happy in that sense? So yeah, send a connection request, engage with their content, lead with value, an actual message that's going to be valuable. Another thing is too, even if you send them a message, right? Follow up minimum 3-4 times, right? Like the money is in the follow-ups. There's been time, like I remember one time, even funny enough, when we were selling our AI automation offer, we put someone in a subsequence campaign, and we almost lost a deal on $7,000 just because we didn't follow up. And literally, yeah. So once I realized, like, oh my God, like I've always known this, but we weren't taking it serious. Like the money is in the follow-ups, guys. Follow up minimum 3-4 times until you get a no. Obviously, if you follow up 20 times is different, but follow up minimum 3-4 times and actually leading with value and actually helping the person get results, because you already know we're busy. We're in literally Chiang Mai right now, so everyone is busy. So always making sure you follow up, and it's never personal. So yeah.
Absolutely. And bro, I wanted to touch base real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so they send a connection request. Do you guys add any message there or send it at all?
We send it blank,
There we
because
go. That's one of the things that they have to learn, bro.
literally, and I'll tell you why. Because if someone says, "Hey, Hennock, I noticed you follow Lewis on this, on LinkedIn," I'm not gonna accept it, right? Like you already know, right? So if I see you as just a regular person trying to connect with me, and you are a respectful person, I'm gonna obviously accept it, right? And then even then, after 2-3 days, I forgot that I accepted the request because I'm not watching that heavily, right? So I personally don't like to send a message right away.
Same.
I give it a couple of days, let it marinate, I like to say, and then go from there. So yeah.
You know what's funny? Even me, I'm learning right now because I'm not applying that we engage with the contact person.
I hear you.
I just noticed why you said that, because if you just made a connection request and then I see you immediately on my notification all the time, who is this person? And
100%.
They get curious.
Exactly.
And then 3 days later, this is the guy who engaged with me.
Literally.
Sent you a message.
Exactly.
And also, I wanted to add too, though, bro. When they're following up, you still have to apply the same principle that you just talked about. Like, a lead will value. Do not just follow up. Like, hey, just following up in case you missed this. You know.
I agree. So I guess how I like to go with following up is, let's say one of my biggest things, and even to tie this into cold email as well, and when lead generation is, like, lead magnets for us have always worked, right? Like whether it's a free trial or, before what we used to do in cold email was PDF files. Like those were printing for us like crazy because people love free stuff, right? Not everyone will buy your items after, but for us, like the free value that we were giving was printing us like leads essentially for our own offer. So how I would go about, once I send a message, hey, Hennock, love what you're creating at XYZ company. I actually just created this for you. Would it be okay? I sent it, no strings attached, right? Like I always say, yeah, sure, send it. Maybe I'll look at it, maybe I won't. Yeah. But at least you considered me and you sent me something that's gonna maybe help us. Cool. Now I know in the top of my mind, hey, Lewis did this for me. Yeah. He sent me this that's actually valuable and it's actually and I tried it and I kind of like it. Now I'm actually potentially open to a conversation, right? Exactly. Even for example, one of my thumbnail guys, I remember How he got me was, first of all, he landed in spam and cold email. He cold emailed me, but however, he gave me 2 free thumbnails. I was like, okay, cool. Like, you're giving me 2 free thumbnails. Now I feel like, okay, like, thumbnails were good. He got it done within a reasonable manner. Now actually, I'm interested in working, and you know, he's been collecting cash off me ever since then.
There
right?
you go.
So, yeah, lead with value. Offer something for free, or it doesn't have to be nothing crazy, but create something so valuable where the person is gonna almost be like, oh my gosh, like, yes, I generally do appreciate you for creating that. And then from now on, how we do follow up is, you know, hey Hennock, noticed. I'm not too sure if you got my last message, but wanted to know if you had a chance to look at this. If not, no worries. Just wanted to make sure, you know, this didn't slide through the cracks, right? Just kind of pinching me a little bit. That's fine, because you did send me something. So at least the least I could do is look at it. So there's nothing wrong with trying to push on the second or third message. And then I guess from the third message, be like, hey Hennock, totally understand if you didn't have time to look at this, but I actually wanted some feedback because we're trying to, you know, get this XYZ result for clients like you. Would love your feedback, right? So again, make it about them, the value follow-ups. And then on the second or third message, don't be afraid to kind of, I don't want to say push, but don't be afraid to pinch me a little bit, because you did create something free. And
Poke the bear?
Yeah, poke the bear, literally. Don't be afraid to poke the bear on the second one, because you created something valuable, and at least, you know, I should look at it or open the message. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also, bro, like, if we, since we're already at the technical side already, this is very helpful because this is another channel that we can discuss, right? So, bro, since we're already at the LinkedIn deep dive right now, let's talk about, let's give value to the audience.
Yeah.
We can't do this every day, manually. Sure. It will be time consuming.
Yeah.
Are there any automation tools there that we could use and purchase to get this LinkedIn automation set up?
Yeah. Literally, there's only one tool we use, and it's called HeyReach. And the great part about it is it's pretty cost effective. It's about $75 a month for one account. Obviously, if you are looking to add multiple accounts, the price do go up, and they do have enterprise accounts as well. So that's just a side note. But anyways, yeah, literally the tool we use is called HeyReach. You're able to literally upload the files you want for the clients you're working with once you scrape them. And if they do have a specific, like their LinkedIn URL, and then from that point on, you're able to send automatic requests daily. With LinkedIn, I think we both know it's about 20 to 25 connection requests a day. So let's say you have, you know, 300 people you want to send requests to, and it's a very specific target list. Rather than going manually one by one, this tool is able to automatically send the connection request for you, right? The great part I like about this tool as well is in the workflows, you're able to like their you know, photos or their videos or their posts. You're able to view their profile, so it actually looks like, you know, hey, this person looked at my profile today and they actually commented something. Like, I'm grateful for that, right? And then kind of create that trust going through the workflow, right? So you like on their photos, you view their profile, you know, day 2, you like their photos again. Day 3, you comment something, you know, and day 4, you could even add an automated SMS message saying, hey, love what you're creating at your profile at, you know, a company name. I actually created you a guide that's going to help you get this results. Would it be okay if I send it over, right? So from that point on, you've already kind of engaged with them on social media, on their social, on LinkedIn. Now they're able to kind of be like, okay, cool. You know, you've been engaged with me. Sure, let me see what you want to send to me, right? You send them the guide, and then even then, once you send it to them, you can have a delay saying, hey, follow up in 3-4 days, and actually send a follow-up message if they didn't reply, right? So yeah, HeyReach is a great tool. Definitely I would recommend to use it if you have a bigger channel, if you're looking to.
And how much is it per seat, bro?
I believe it's $75. Don't quote me on that, per month. So if you do have the funds and you are focused heavily on LinkedIn, highly recommend using HeyReach as an automation tool to get clients. So yeah,
absolutely. I think I've heard a lot of things about HeyReach too, bro. And so, okay. They send a connection request. They already got the setup. Since Hennock told me about this in the event itself, but since you do have a background about the sales process, let's give some sauce about the sales. Okay. They got him on the call. What was the usual sales process look like on your end for now?
So I guess in terms of like when we get on a call, how do we kind of run the meetings essentially? Got it. So I guess how I like to run meetings on sales calls is number one, right? you want to lead with authority, right? Like the first 2 minutes of a sales call is what's going to determine if you're going to get the close or not, right? So essentially how I like to go about was, hey, listen, hey, thank you for your time today. Definitely do respect your time as well. That being said, just so we are able to lock in the next 30 minutes, by the end of the call, we're going to be talking about XYZ, how we can potentially, right? I always like to say potentially because I don't know if they're going to be a fit, and I like to qualify them also on the call too at the same time, because I don't want to be desperate and trying to look like I want to work with them, right? Because the last thing is business owners can smell desperation, right? We've all been there.
Yep.
So always say potentially see if we can actually help you get those results and to see if it's a good fit on our end and your end as well. And then by the end of the call, we'll just come to an agreement, whether it's a yes or no. And if it is a yes, I'll definitely explain the pricing, how we operate, and the next steps to continue working with us. How does that sound? And they're like, cool, sounds good, right? The main purposes of it is setting the frame, setting the tone at the first 2 minutes, right? I'm not saying go too hard on it, but when you're able to set the authority of the frame of the call, business owners will respect you, because end of the day, you definitely hopped on sales calls with other people looking to buy any services or tools.
Yep.
If they're able to kind of guide and lead the sales calls for me, I like that, because now I know, okay, if they're able to guide and lead in sales calls, that means they're off for whatever product or service they're able to guide and lead me to, because obviously I do have a problem. I hopped on a call for a reason. So that's literally the way I like to go. So obviously first set the frame, set the tone at the start. And then from that point on, we like to call these discovery questions, right?
Nice.
You need to ask about, okay, cool, where are they currently at right now? What's currently going on in their business? Because you need to be more curious about them, right? Because at the end of the day, if you don't look like you're curious, or actually understand you want to help them generally, they're not going to want to buy. Because I know I've hopped off sales calls within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, because I felt like they're just trying to push me into an offer. And that's the worst thing you can do. So I generally like it when people say, hey, Hennock, kind of tell me what's going on in your business, what's currently happening, where you guys are at currently right now, and what has been the problems you've been facing, right? Because now it gives me the chance to yap, right? And I think every business owner wants to kind of talk about their problems that they're facing.
Yeah.
And as a sales rep, or, in this case, you're the sales rep or the business owner trying to sell them, right? Once you're able to ask those discovery questions correctly, right? Now I'm okay, this guy's actually listening to me. I feel heard, right? And one of the other things I like to do is when you are asking discovery questions as well, is to ask follow-up questions to that point. Because the biggest thing in sales is you need to find out what the problem is. Once they tell you the problem, start digging in it, right? Start poking it, right? Poke the bear, keep poking the bear. Because now they told you, for example, let's say you're selling cold email services, and they say, yeah, man, we haven't gotten any leads in the last 30 days. Right? You want to say, oh, okay, good, definitely hear that, man. Why haven't you guys gotten any leads in the last 30 days? And what's been going on? What's the problem, right? And then they say, yeah, our sales reps are not making enough cold calls. We don't have a good client acquisition system. Oh, so I guess how are you guys generating leads now? And then from that framework, you just keep diving in, and then from that point on, as the person, they're gonna feel I have a big problem, and this is really bad. I need to solve this now. Now I'm in a place of scarcity. I need to solve this.
Actually, bro, the framework I always use this is like you're acting like a doctor trying to give a consultation to the patient, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm a doctor that doesn't require you don't require my service, I'm gonna give you to someone else.
Literally,
they're not a fit. Where do you see this coming in the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, that's a tough question, man. That's a very tough question. I think a lot of agencies are going to die, like a lot of cold email agencies. The reason why is I think the technical bandwidth is getting more complex, right? So I think agencies that have been doing it for a while, they'll be okay. But, a lot of people that don't have the correct infrastructure or the correct systems, inbox rotations, and actually knowing how to manage cold email infrastructure, I think those are the people that are going to get burned. And Lewis can even testify to this. Is the biggest thing is managing your inboxes and managing your domains is the biggest thing, because the last thing you want to do is, use a burned domain or use burned inboxes and land in spam, right? So the biggest thing is obviously, you're sending out the emails, right? But you also want to kind of manage it, right? I kind of see everything now, you're more of a project, you're not an entrepreneur, you're more of a project manager, right? You're managing multiple things at once as a business owner. So you want to make sure your infrastructure is okay and it's actually running, right? And then being able to have an ecosystem and a system where, you're able to swap out everything at once. But I guess for the next 6 to 12 months, I think a lot of agencies are going to get burned. But I think it's just going to become more tougher, right? I think we're going to see a lot of people trying to switch up their offers even maybe, or even trying to just use cold email as a way to acquire clients for their new offer, but not actually sell it as a service maybe. So that's potential ways that I'm seeing. I've spoken to a couple of people at this event, and they kind of agree and they kind of disagree. So it's an interesting take. So yeah.
And one thing I wanted to add there too is that even with our agency, bro, I don't even want to call it like a. When I present myself, I call it like B2B lead generation.
Yeah.
It's B2B. So like, this is no longer a matter of channel via cold email. So we're now expanding. We've always been done cold calls, so we might double down on that. But whatever it is, you gotta adapt to wherever the market is going. But for sure, I would say it's definitely becoming a more science now, where you have to do this,
technical,
and X, Y, Z. So if you're not catching up, you're gonna lose. And also, I guess we can take this portion to the business owners that are watching right now, bro. And this might be one of the advantages of getting an agency as well, is the data that we're having and the changes that we're seeing. Because if you come in right now and then next week we gotta change with Microsoft, and then you're gonna be cooked, right? So like, talk to us about the business owners who are watching. Like, when should they hire an agency instead of just bringing it in-house?
You should hire an agency if you don't have a defined like lead gen system yet. Because if you're a business owner, you're selling an offer, like you're not gonna have a business if you don't have leads coming in or opportunities, right? Like you should outsource when essentially, I don't want to say when you're just starting out, but if you've been in the game, you already kind of, you have a defined sales process, you potentially have a couple of sales reps on your team, right? That's, I think, a perfect answer of when to bring an agency in, because now all you got to do is you have your sales reps, even yourself as a business owner, you could be taking the calls, right? Your agency can start filtering in and getting you leads. I think that's a perfect time too. I also think it's a perfect time if you've actually already do have an internal team that does lead gen, because the biggest thing is sometimes an agency, right, or a B2B lead gen company, they might have more, strategies, or because they obviously are testing, and like you said, they have more data. They're able to leverage that to their advantage and potentially could be an internal team's, lead gen system, right? So I think those are two opportunities when a business owner should consider. Just because they have an internal team, it doesn't always mean that, because internally sometimes they move slower, right? Agencies, we already know we like to move a little bit quick, and we're fast paced, and we're always testing new things ahead. So that's the biggest thing. So yeah.
And also, bro, like I wanted to add here is that what I've noticed too is that what companies perform a lot really well in cold email is that they got product market fit already. And they validated this, which means they've already sold to hundreds of customers, and they're just adding cold email now as a new offer. Maybe they've done Google ads before, and they just wanted to try cold email. It really works usually. But you mentioned something really good earlier, bro. Like people with sales teams. Let's talk about this, because what have you noticed with like businesses who has dedicated sales teams that you work with them, and businesses who are just the one-man show where they basically run everything? What have you noticed between these two clients?
So it's an interesting space, because I think, so there's two things with this. I think if a team has a sales team, it's great. It makes you guys actually look good too, because you're able to feed your sales teams leads, and all the sales teams has to do is work the leads, essentially, right? They got to just close the leads, follow up with them, call them, right? Like that's the biggest thing for the sales team. On the other hand, if you were to just work with the business owner one-on-one, and they're just taking the sales calls, right, and they don't have a sales team, it makes it difficult, because you can get them 100 leads, and then they might just follow up with them next week, right? Because they're busy this week as a business owner, they got to focus on other stuff, right? And it essentially kills your growth and your momentum in your company, right? Because they're not able to follow up with the leads, they're not able to call the leads. So I always like to say, like, even all my coaches, mentors, always try and work with a company that has at least minimum 2 sales reps, because those guys, they're hungry, they want to make commissions, they want to make money, right? Not 1 sales rep, I like to say 2, just to be safe, because there's 2 people you got to feed. So yeah, always make sure the company has a sales rep, because at the end of the day, those sales guys, they're hungry, they have quota to meet, they have to hit a certain standard. rather than just a business owner that runs the entire operation and says, hey, I need leads for my company. So yeah.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that, bro. And because as well, these people,
Yeah.
their entire job is just dedicated to the leads that you're sending to.
Literally.
Imagine sending it to them
Yeah.
compared to, I understand where the business owners are
Yeah.
coming from. They might just be operating here
Yeah.
and then do accounting and stuff,
Yeah.
and then they just gotta focus on marketing.
Yeah.
Their head might be all around. Not saying that that the business owner is just not good at selling,
Yeah.
but there's a person who's dedicated his entire
Exactly.
day is just
Sales.
to do the sales.
Yeah.
That would be a lot easier.
Yeah. It's great because, again, it makes you look good too, because now they're getting the leads and they're closing the leads, and it's a win-win, right? Like it makes it easier for you and it makes it easier for the business owner, and they're making deals. And I actually want to touch back on something you said is product market fit and offer, right? Because, oh my God, I can't even tell you how many times where I've spoken with business owners, or even try to take on clients where even like they don't have a product, like a proper product market fit, or even the offer isn't the best, right? Like the biggest thing you wanted, like the last thing you would ever want to do at the start, it's a little bit different. Like, yes, try and get as much clients as you can so you're able to build up your portfolio of clients and customers you've worked with. But as you try and realize it slowly and slowly, you realize that, okay, like some of these clients, they don't have a good offer, or their offer doesn't make sense. And even if you are trying to sell for them, it's hard to get results for, right?
Yep. Yep.
Especially with cold email cracking down with all that stuff. So like Lewis said, like biggest thing is making sure their offer makes sense, and they have a good product market fit, so you're able to get them results. Because you know how many times you've definitely seen in the space where a lot of companies, they hire an agency and they get mad at the agencies. Hey, you guys are not getting us leads, this and that. But the reality is, you know, with all due respect, the offer isn't that good, and you know they think they can make more money. And sometimes cold email isn't a good acquisition channel for it. Something like that. That's what it is
At
too.
all.
Sometimes
Yep.
cold email doesn't work for them, and that's fine, right? And it's learning with the fact, but always understanding what your client's offers are, and seeing if it can make sense as for cold email. So yeah.
Absolutely. And a good litmus test on this too is like, explain it to me in 1 to 2 sentences.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you
Literally.
can translate it and dumb it
Yeah.
down, because always think of it as a perspective that if you send an email to me, I'm gonna pull up my phone right now, receive an email. I don't want to think like, who is this?
Yeah.
If it's not simple enough where
Yeah.
I can just delete it or archive it,
Yeah.
it might not work.
Exactly. And I think another thing is too, like even when you are sending emails, make sure it's like very like clear, concise, and simple. Because a lot of executives, a lot of CEOs, like they get a lot of emails, right? A
Yeah.
lot of, like you get probably a lot of cold emails. You're like, what is this email about? And then when I see something that's too over, like it looks like it's just chat GPT, and I'm like, okay, like this is, I don't even understand what this means. Like this is too much for me. So I think the biggest thing is simplifying your messaging and the offer, and then essentially like making it so very simple that if I see this, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. This makes sense. So biggest thing is, even when you're writing your copy or typing for your cold email, make sure it's very clear, concise, and then relevant as well. So yeah.
Absolutely. And bro, I wanted to touch base on the last part.
Yeah.
Now, where do you plan to take your agency though? Where are you seeing it in the future, you know?
That's a great question. I think in the future, I think the biggest thing is for us, we're gonna be leveraging cold email for sure. Like I think cold email is a great acquisition channel, but I think us selling it as a service is definitely gonna be very like dimmed down, right? We're probably
Yeah.
gonna be working with like 1 or 2 clients just because the offer is ripping. But I definitely see ourselves potentially just pivoting out of the agency space, just because we want to like kind of focus on like higher things, potentially in the financial sector,
Nice.
because we've met some good people and with their offers, and they've even been trying to like partner up with us, but we're just kind of hesitant on what's going on first. But we don't want to overwhelm ourselves. Biggest thing. So I think for us is kind of pivoting from, you know, still doing cold email only for a very select few clients with good offers and they're just loyal to us. But then essentially focusing on using cold email to sell our other offers as well. So potentially in the financial sector as well. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And bro, are there how can people find you if they wanted to stay in touch with you? How can people find you?
Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty big on, not big on LinkedIn, I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, should I say. You can find me at Hennock, Hennock, Lulseged, Lulseged on LinkedIn. You can find me as well as on LinkedIn, Hennock Lulseged, and then as well as Instagram, Henny, HENNY.biz. Lewis always likes to make fun of my handle because it's like Henny Biz, but yeah, so that's literally where you guys can find me on LinkedIn and on Instagram. So yeah.
All right. So, bro, I'll plug your websites below.
For
but
sure, for
Thanks
sure.
for hopping on the podcast, brother.
Appreciate it, Lewis. Thank you so much,
Thank you so
man.
much.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Peace.
Take care, guys.